Hi guys, I'm back again today with another video, and today we're checking out how to build a medieval castle. That was my question because I'm like, how do they don't have the stuff that we have nowadays to build such huge est- like structures, but it seems like it's even more like, how do you call it? It's like the quality of infrastructure is way more than like the modern. I don't know anything about like architecture and all that, but it looks like it lasts years compared to like what we have in the modern times, right? So I wanted to know how they're built, and this video might let us know. So before we start, don't forget to subscribe, click the bell button, and let's find out.
I
Whoa.
certainly never thought I'd end up in a quarry for Europe to the max. But here, dozens of craftsmen and workers are building a castle from the Middle Ages. Blacksmiths, stone crushers, carpenters, stonemasons, rope makers, bricklayers, and roof tilers. And they're only using the materials and technology from that era. And today I'm one of them building a castle.
The Château de Guédelon is Europe's biggest medieval castle reconstruction project. It's located about 200 kilometers south of Paris, France, near the village of Treigny in the Burgundy region. The idea is to reproduce a slice of life in the 13th century. The castle never actually existed before. This is a modern-day medieval-style building on a 70,000 square meter site. The plan took shape in the mid-1990s. A group of architects, historians and archaeologists came together to find out what building a real castle in the Middle Ages involved. They raised the needed funds and began. Marilyn Martin has supervised the project since the first stone was laid in 1997.
It's a castle in the style of King Philip Augustus of France, like the Louvre in Paris. It has a tower for the lords of the castle, a living area, and several turrets. The castle is designed so it's very difficult to attack and conquer it. It's a small castle, and the social status of its owner would be relatively low. Altogether, including the family, the staff, and the soldiers, no more than 15 to 20 people would have lived here.
About 40 craftsmen work here from spring till fall. Another 30 employees take care of the administration.
It's a bit like an orchestra with many different instruments. Every craftsman is important. Everyone is needed every day to build this castle.
And anyone can join in, even me.
Every year, 600 volunteers come along to help out. And today, I'm one of them.
I can't show up dressed like this, of course. That's better. Now I'm ready for my first assignment in the quarry. Castles were generally built right near a quarry, so the distance that the heavy stones had to be transported would be as short as possible. This is hard labor, especially for me, obviously. But the stone cutters don't just randomly break up rocks here. They cut them into specific shapes and sizes. Tundra Schroven shows me how to do it.
So I just put it in the middle, and I want two equal blocks. Okay. So I just put it in the middle, and it's going to split in this direction. So we have these iron leaves that we're going to place against the sides, and it's going to hold the iron wedge. And it's the iron wedge who's going to split the stone.
With a few pointers, it's not all that hard.
Oh. That's it?
Now the stone blocks go to the stonemasons, one after another on wooden carts. The stonemasons have to get the blocks in shape. I have to get myself in shape with a couple of dry runs. Aline Meunier uses a wooden stencil to show me what the stone is supposed to look like when I'm done.
Lift the chisel a bit, just like that.
So if I imagine I need to work on thousands of stones here, it's just impossible. It's so exhausting, and you need so much patience here.
Nowadays, we use different tools because stuff needs to get done faster. And that's the only difference. Here I work on the stone with my hands, not with a machine. We've got the time for it, and the time to show and explain it to the children and adults. But the love for the stone is the same. I just express it differently here.
2 hours later, one stone block has been dressed.
Now we can mark this stone. It's done. I mark every stone with my own symbol, my mason's mark, as proof of my work. In the Middle Ages, we'd be paid for every single stone.
I mark my stone with a DW, of course, for Deutsche Welle.
Next year, we'll use it in that tower. It'll go into the last row of stones. Now you've helped build it. Deutsche Welle will be represented in this castle forever.
Various guilds have set up shop around the site. It runs almost entirely autonomous. All the materials and tools are produced on site. The carpenters cut the wood into beams, tools and scaffolding. Even the baskets are woven on site. Pigments are made from earth and various rocks to mix the paints used on the walls and textiles.
Oh, wow, even that, wow.
Wood from the surrounding forest is used to make the roof shingles. A blacksmith forges the nails, hinges and iron tools. The Guédelon construction site has turned into a tourist attraction. About 300,000 people visit annually. Revenues from admissions finance the project as a whole.
It's fascinating, and I admire the patience they muster in building the castle.
It's interesting to see how things are made the medieval way, with simple means. Today, everything's automated, and we've lost quite a lot of knowledge that way.
I found that pretty fascinating how it fits together from the small piece to end up being a large-scale product.
Now I head over to see the masons. But before the stones can be placed, they have to be hoisted up onto the tower. So I have to get into the tread wheel.
Okay. Oh.
This is how they lifted heavy loads in the Middle Ages. The Guédelon craftsmen have revived.
That's why back in the day, everybody was just so like fit because like most of the things, it's manual. Like, yeah, this is advanced technology in their time, but a person still needs to like go into the hamster wheel to kind of like take it up, right? So everybody was just doing things. We were not laying around unless obviously you're like a king or whatever royalty. You'd probably be laying around. But like most people would just be like doing something. Like the whole building of this is so manual. Like it it takes time. That's why it took how many years, right? It takes so much time. So I do feel like back in the day they have more people to work on things because like people needed jobs and also like if you're royalty, you have like the whole nation, no, I don't know, to kind of like work for you. Like, hey, you need to do this, you guys need to do this. Like everybody's like building and working, so maybe it was faster ish. But now, like, obviously not everyone wants to do this, and most of the time it's volunteers who do it as well. So that's why it took or it's taking so much time. But wow.
Survived many long forgotten techniques. Workers like Mike Monfront are here to learn how to use the methods and materials of the period, but not to imitate the way of life of the Middle Ages. Among the winners here is science. Historians gain a better idea of how certain work was done back then. In the Middle Ages, craftsmen were held in high regard. They were the ones who passed on the skills and knowledge.
I became a mason here just by chance. I was a graphic artist in Paris for 20 years. After watching a film about Guédelon, I said to myself, that's what I have to do. This is important. This is our cultural heritage. So from one day to the next, I decided to change professions. I slogged away here for 3 years, and now here I am, finishing this castle. What I'm doing here is for eternity.
Parts of the castle have already been completed. The residential chambers give some idea how the lord of the castle and his family and staff would have lived here. An end to the construction work is nowhere in sight. For the workers in Guédelon, the journey is the reward.
The castle belongs to us all. That's my message. Come and you can be stonemasons. You can see the beautiful roof timbering and the murals. We all feel the same thrill when we see something beautiful. And that beauty is not reserved for an elite alone. We're building this beauty with our hands, our heads, and our hearts.
I still got a bit of building to do with my hands, head and heart as well. I'm heading up to the heights and help to tile the roof on the chapel tower. With locally fired tiles, of course.
That is
I
fascinating.
don't know why anyone would choose not to use modern technology, but I'm really impressed by the people of Guédelon with their passion and enthusiasm for this project.
It's like the roof is like a puzzle.
What do you think about the Guédelon Castle project? Is it genius or madness?
I feel like it's genius. Yeah. Because, like he said, the other guy, you preserve the culture, you pass it on to the new generation so that it doesn't die, right? And also, like moving forward in the future, we can relay like how things were done. And also, we can learn from the past, how they do stuff, right? Like we can learn from them and then bring it into the future or in the present. I believe we watched the video wherein they do that in modern infrastructures. They use like past ways of building to kind of like incorporate it in the modern in the present time, and it really worked, right? So I feel like by doing so you just pass it on and we learn, we innovate, and we just kind of like maybe make it better, or just for the sake of culture. I feel like this is essential. But anyways, I am gonna stop rumbling around and I will see you hopefully tomorrow. Maybe if I don't post tomorrow, maybe the day after, because tomorrow I have 14 hours of work. Good luck. So yeah, I'll see you hopefully tomorrow, if not the next day. Thank you guys for joining, and I'll see you then. Bye.